Hello there, YouTube, and welcome to a 41 degree Sunday, the 14th of December. It's made it to a whopping 50 degrees. The sun actually came out for a little while, and but that was short-lived. The heavy winds, now they're saying 45 to 50 mile an hour winds, starting at 10 p.m. tonight and lasting until 10 p.m. tomorrow night. So, yep, the storm's coming back. It's nice when the sunshine was out. I was right in the middle of doing yesterday's video. I always do them the next day on the weekends. Well, I've had a few days that I've done them at work this past week. Man, last night was another one of those nights. There's a crazy amount of sleep. I think my body's going, you know, I like that stuff. Jeez, got up, had breakfast this morning, and I was sitting there getting ready to, I already put the files and stuff on the iPad, and sitting there relaxing for a second, start building the vlog. Next thing I know, Kelly goes, "Are you gonna sleep the day away?" And I thought I'd just nod it off. It was 10:30. Man, talking about wasting your day, especially your day off of all days. But anyway, yep, some other dog, some other dog come through here. Sure that wasn't you yesterday? Sasha had to stop and take a little tinkle break. Anyway, we're gonna work on the little Z50 today, but figured I'd take Sasha for a walk before the winds and rains kick in. Look how you can see where the water rushed across this road. It was pushing all that grass. It definitely flooded down here. It's all downhill from my house. Oh, it's a bird. My house down to here. But yeah, definitely some flooding going on. That gravel must be well seeded in because it didn't get disturbed. That's why I was wondering, those, you know, flat spots out there just looked like all the grass was knocked down in places. But years ago, I've ridden a dirt bike down here, and it was all flooded around this corner through here. Actually, like I say, the creek kind of runs down that pathway you can see, and then off that way. Pointing with the camera like you can make sense out of that. But Danny, you jump fencing fool. But I've come down, and all of that can be wet. Just a swampy look going through there. Pretty wild looking. But we haven't had any of those floods like that since early 22. Remember, there's videos of like Abby running across the water where we literally had to wear our boots to get to the garage and back. Yeah, what a mess. The water got in there one time, and just the moisture of it damaged our electronic stuff for our water. We're on well water. It's not good. Can't do without water. Electricity, you can pull out a generator and stuff and run stuff, but I don't hook well, I mean, I could. It'd be easy enough to do. To hook the generator up to the well and make the water run, but you know, we got two full 6-gallon cans of, you know, water we have on hand, so we need to flush a commode or, you know, boil some water to cook with. It's not a problem. And plus, when it gets stormy, we'll you know, just fill some water bottles, like we clean out like I buy gallon water jugs that I drink out of, and I'll save a few of those things. We just fill them up when we think something's gonna happen. It's perfect for cooking and stuff with. This is our look. Coming back every time. Sasha in front of me, Danny in front of her. Sasha stops to smell stuff. Danny will stop and wait for us for a little bit. He hears us getting close and he takes off again. Well, it was a daily ritual. See, when we stop, he keeps going. But he goes at a slower pace because you can hear my steps and hear Sasha's steps. Otherwise, when he's by himself, he goes 100 miles an hour everywhere. Crazy mutt. You guys ever notice when I first come in the shop, first thing I do is start the video staring across the old Royale infields. The old Pan America, old Slim Jim, old Iron, Grammy, Hemi, GT, the old classic. And the Shortster, that thing got the nickname Shortster way back in the day. So what I'm gonna do first, well, one thing I'm not gonna do today, I'm not gonna mess with this filter because I've got the new intake coming for it, and that's all that buildup of grunge all has to go away. Kind of the exact same thing I went through with the XR70. So I'm just going to put that together. The filter's clean. Well, clean enough. It hasn't sucked enough dirt to even worry about it. It's not rotten at all. So first thing here is to get the valve clearance, because I mean, that intake, she's on top dead center, and I verified she's on the compression stroke. Yeah, that intake, I can get a little movement. Both them valves are tight, and that explains why I was running the way it was, and just didn't mess with it. I think what we were doing before, Ryan and I were goofing around. We just got out there and got the ripping around, and this one did the same thing. Once you got it going, it was okay. But the last time, I think Kelly rode the XR and I rode the Z50, and that's probably been a couple years ago, maybe even more. I did have a hard time keeping it idling, even once it got warmed up. So mess with that. And I forgot to come up with the stuff to rig up a point slide thing, because you make sure you're within the gap range, and then you make sure that the points open just as you're passing, just as you hit the F mark. Your little timing light or points tester thing should go out at that point. In the ideal world, and then you can double check it too, you can actually stick a dwell meter on this thing and check it once you got it and it's running. You can even stick a points light on this thing and verify that the dwell and the firing is, spot on. It's the top dead center. But anyway, you don't have to get that exact with these things. The points look like they're brand new, so I must have replaced them, back in the day. And but I would like to verify that they're where they're supposed to be. You can actually kind of rig something up. There's different things you can do. This little timing light, this old snap-on, like an old-fashioned. Oh, Danny at the door. Hold on. That's corn for the deer. But it was an old flashlight. You remember the old headphones from back in the day? It had the larger plug-in that you plugged into your stereo system. And anyway, it had that kind of a plug-in on the end of it. And it had a little cord and 2 alligator clips. And you simply stuck one side on the points and one the ground, and the light would do the function. As soon as they'd open, the light would go out. Because when they're closed is when the power's transferring, but this only has power when it's running. That's why you have to have the battery backup. And then we did the same thing even with street bikes and stuff. things that had batteries, you know, the key's off, and you disconnect the points wire. It's just one wire coming out. It would be more wires if this thing had a charging system, but it doesn't. It's just simply there. You know, it could be. No, it's just one. Or could there be two? Because they might be using the same coil for one that was, you know, street legal. And in that case, it would have a charging coil in there. Looks like it's only got one coil, so it's just for ignition. Anyway, we get our points adjusted here, and put the carb on. These screws that hold the manifold down to the engine case. I don't know if I might have taken the carb apart at this here, because you do, you know, the O-rings and stuff in there can go bad too, but usually if you don't touch them, it doesn't go. But put a little dab of anti-seize at the tip of these. You don't want to cake it on, because it just takes a little bit to go in there. You don't want to cake it on because it can get all in the surface area, which is normally fine, but on this one it's going to be unique because I'm using an O-ring that's too small, and I'm going to take a very light coating of that Yamabond 6B and put just a featherly light coating on that manifold, just to make sure in case the O-ring doesn't fit perfectly. But I've had these things corrode in the cylinder head and had those things break off. And where that's at, you're either pulling the head or pulling the motor out, because you can't get a drill in there correctly. And usually even your tap tools, it's really hard to get in there. There's a way to get around that, but I don't have that kind of stuff here at the house. But anyway, let's check valves first. And now I'm simply just going to put the carburetor on. I'm going to go ahead and pull the tank off of this thing and completely dump what's in it. It has an aging smell to it, but I treat my fuel, so I mean it's the refrigerator over there. It has a smell to it. I just want to get it out because I don't recall the last time I put gas in it. So we'll make sure we start off fresh with that as well. I think I'll probably be okay with the points, but we'll come up with something to check it anyway. I'll reach in there with a flashlight and a little scriber thing in there. You just reach in there and open the points. I want to see what their face looks like, you know, and see if they're clean and smooth. I'm telling you, everything in there is spotless, and then points look brand new, so I'm sure they're good. Anyway, here we go. So shockingly, what I found was the intake was actually a little loose, and the exhaust had zero clearance. So got my two, is this it? No, that's 4 and 5. It's my 2 and 3. So intake is 2. So you just slide your little feeler gauge in there, and she's maybe, oh, I just got a weird thing on it. So you just want a slight resistance on it. And then 3, because this one was tight, I set it at get her in here again. Set her at kind of a loose 3, but a 4 will absolutely not go in it. So there we are, 2 and 3. I think a lot of people set them at 2 and 2, and sometimes the specs say 2 and 2, but I've always set them at a 2 and 3, just because the exhaust side expands and can get tight on its own just because of the heat. And I've always found that these things, even if they say 2 and 2, I go 2 and 3. I think the XR said 2 and 2, and I said at 2 and 3. When they're cold, they can be a little noisier than normal, but as soon as they warm up, they just sound normal. But it's you don't ever want tight exhaust, especially exhaust valve. It will smoke that valve if you do that. So Anyway, I brought my Yamalube race grease out because I like to, well, that one's not going to really need it now, but I put just a dab of grease on the threads and stuff. The O-rings on both of these covers are obviously new from when I rebuilt it and put that 4-speed transmission in it. So I'll also, oh yeah, the O-rings and stuff are all fresh. I was thinking of oil level and all that stuff. I'm saying one thing and talking about another. But look at the way the clip style thing that holds the countershaft sprocket on there. Isn't that funny? The little tiny sprockets on this thing. The transmission, the 4-speed transmission came with a larger, it must have been for street use. I mean, this thing would go 45, 50 miles an hour in 5th gear. It went so fast, it was frightening on something so small and with such tiny little wheels that I just put the stock sprocket on it. It's a Sunstar, and that's, you'll see a lot of OEM Honda sprockets that have that little star icon on there. Sunstar is, I think, maybe a Honda company. I have no idea. You can get a lot of stuff aftermarket from them too. But anyway, so the valve's good. I clean up the caps and I put just a little grease on the threads because they can be a little sticky. You know, obviously when it's running, it's gonna wash it off, but the caps come off easier when you put them together that way. Just put a little dab in there. So I think I got still got my 17. Oh, you know those cheap, I got sets of them up there, those offset spanners. Look at these. These are Sears branded. Tell me that doesn't, I mean, they do look a little better quality, but that's essentially the same as the Harbor Freight, the Pittsburgh things. I've had these forever. I think my dad threw those in when my tools got stolen. He just went and bagged a whole bunch of stuff and filled that box with it was mostly metric stuff. I don't think I had a lot of SAE stuff in the box. I had them somewhere else. But anyway, let's get the caps back on, and like I say, I'm just gonna, I can get that smaller O-ring to fit inside the groove of this, and make it work. But I will take it off because because it's easy on this one. You take the one air filter bolt up there, and the 2 manifolds, and the whole carburetor and everything comes out. And I can leave everything connected. Probably knock the vent hose and stuff off, but I get enough room that I can reach in there, peel the old O-ring out, and put the new one in, and put it right back. And the filter can be taken out. You slide it backwards and come out. But that boot's hard enough. It doesn't have a secure fit on that thing, and they will suck dirt. And obviously somebody was thinking it was sucking dirt because they gobbed it all up with some kind of RTV of some sort. But I can, run it for now. It's not like there's gonna be dust down anywhere out there. Everything's wet. But I'm not gonna ride it tonight. It's already getting dark, or has gotten dark. So, and anyway, we'll just make sure she runs. So I just put, like I say, the lightest little bit of that grease on there. I've had plenty of these things get stuck, and you end up rounding off the if these ever get stiff and you can't get them to move, do not use the 12-point wrench. Don't try to force it off with that 12-point. Go get you a 6-point socket and put it on there, and use like a cheater bar, of course 3/8, and take it off with that. But I've had the thread snap off in there and to just separate itself from the cap because they get so stuck. So just little tricks with these old gals, things that'll save your butt. Who knows, you might not even be able to get that thing. I'm sure there's something that Honda uses that still uses those caps, but one never knows. When you get them this old, don't be messing around with stuff. If you know something can save them, do it. So got that O-ring to set in there. Then you use the Yamabond 6 and just, you're literally painting that stuff on there. Never goop silicone on anything, ever. That stuff breaks free, especially on 4-strokes. Breaks free and gets in the motor, plugs, oil, jets, and all kinds of stuff that goes on inside those motors. I see people goop that stuff on and it just makes me cringe from the inside. And then with the copper coat, I put it in there so it's in the threads, and then I run my fingers around it to knock the excess off. You just need it damp with it. Don't need to overcoat it. One of the things it can do, if this was an important sealing area, as you're screwing it in, it's going to scrape it off and it'll ooze that silicone in there and literally break the seal that you're trying to create there. You can even see that thing, but you can see it shiny where I just kind of painted it on. Just a little dip on your finger and just literally paint it. That's all you need. Second kick. She fired right to life. After not being run in Lord knows how long. The rear tire had 3.5 pounds in it. The front had 4. Top end sounds nice and quiet. Typical little Honda. How about that? 40 years old this little gal is. Wish I could find those off-white number plates. One on each side and one on the front. I'll come up with something someday. I think it had, I don't remember how it mounted on there. I see one screw. I know it was these weird little clips and some O-rings that strapped it to the front. On this side it's got 2 bolt holes. How about that little jewel? What a sweetheart. Isn't that something? Sitting here all this time and she was lit right off. So that carburetor, she was definitely due for a clean though. But we got her all dialed in. It was a tight exhaust valve. Well, and you guys seen the carburetor. I didn't put the new fuel line on yet. I'll wait till I take the carb loose again to do the air filter and the manifold O-ring. What a joy. It's such a riot to rip around on these things. And wheelie, you can literally wheelie them until you run out of gas. Or you do something stupid and fall over. Man. What a cool little bike. Absolutely cool. Well, hello there, YouTube. The evening so far is calm.
Yes.
But,
knock on wood.
Yeah. About 10 o'clock tonight, and supposed to go. That's when the warning is, from 10 p.m. tonight to 10 p.m. tomorrow night. And the same old warning. All the rain's supposed to be coming back too. I don't think it's really bad tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they're concerned because the ground is so saturated.
Any rain is gonna.
Yeah. Trees will just absolutely topple over when it's so saturated.
Yeah.
And that wind is not a good thing.
No.
I mean, it would already, there's trees everywhere you see that, went over, knocked the guardrails apart. And the worst thing is if it goes across the freeway on I-5 anywhere.
Yeah.
You're talking hours before you get home. Just over a tree. And the worst thing is the tree falls and hits a car,
Yeah.
someone gets hurt, and then you're really going to be backed up. But anyway.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Chill Sunday for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Mom was doing Christmas stuff. I goofed around with all my stuff.
Had to finish
Dog walks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Kids are back from their dads. They're all already back there getting hollered at by their mom.
Yeah.
Somebody did something back there.
Oh, yeah. Kids never listen to the mom.
Yeah. It's funny if Kelly or I scream, whoop, they go quiet.
I know.
They go, we don't know how
far you can push the name.
We don't know where their button is. We'll not mess with that. Anyway, we're going to roll with that.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same Smoak time, same Smoak channel. Don't forget to give her a thumbs up. You guys have a wonderful Monday or Tuesday.
Heck yeah. We'll see you in the morning time.
We'll see you in the morning.
All right. Wish us luck getting to and from work.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.